right, guys, if this isn't proof that I listen when you guys talk, I don't know what else is. I put out a video, I don't know, a few days ago, and it was on best home defense gun. And simply stated, it was just my my overview of various types of guns that you could use in the home. Some of them that I actually do use. And I do have to say this also, the best home defense gun is the one that you're most comfortable with and that works, okay? And that you have. Don't let anybody shame you into thinking that you don't have a good enough home defense gun. If you can work with it and you own it, that's your best home defense gun. So don't let anybody else, any influencers on the internet, YouTube, or wherever, talk you into anything or make you feel bad about what you might have. So again, getting that out of the way, a lot of you pointed out to me that the FBI has done some studies that penetration or over penetration of the 5.56 round versus a 9mm is basically a myth. So what I'm going to do today, I've set up my own quote house. I've got a couple of fake walls, 2 fake walls, and what I've done is obviously I've built them just like a normal wall. It does not have insulation in between, but not all houses have insulation on their inside their internal walls anyway. So this is meant to simulate internal walls of a home. There's no brick. I'm not bringing brick out here. I'm not hiring a bricklayer for this. There's no hardy plank. There's no vinyl siding. This is to simulate inside wall. And what I did is I built an additional simulated wall 12 feet from the first one. The reason being is your average room size is about 10 or 12 feet across the room. Average. I realize some of you rock stars out there have rooms that are 50 feet long. I don't. But the average room is about 10 to 12 feet. So what I did is I marked this off 12 feet away. So I have one wall that's in front, and that's the initial wall that we're going to send our rounds through, and then 12 feet from that we have an additional wall. What I want to see is if we have over penetration, how much over penetration do we have? Is it enough to make it to that next wall? How much power does that round have once it makes it through 2 rows or 2 sheets of sheetrock? So again, we're going to take a look at that. This is very, very unscientific. This is what I call junk science, and I hope you guys appreciate what we're trying to do here, because again, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. You know, if I think the over penetration of a 5.56 round is that it over penetrates more than a 9, that's on me if I'm wrong about it. I have not shot yet, by the way. My targets are still out here, totally clean. So we're going to walk up to them here in a minute, and we're going to pretty much shoot into them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do them in order. I'm going to do the 9mm first, 9mm pistol, then I'm going to do a 45 caliber. Then I'm going to do my shotgun, then I'm going to do my PCC, my 9mm pistol carbine, then I'm going to do the 5.56 round. Now what I've also done out of fairness is in each one of these rounds, I have essentially a practice round. What would be considered an over penetrating round, a full metal jacket, something of that sort. That goes for 9mm, 45, I have a full metal jacket, then I have either a hollow point or I have a ballistic tip point in the 45. In the shotgun, I've got double-aught buckshot, I've got a slug, and I even have birdshot. Let's see how birdshot works, okay? And then again, when I go over to my 5.56 round, of course I have a full metal jacket at 5.56, and then I have a lead soft-tipped 5.56 that should penetrate less than that full metal jacket. Guys, I got a lot of shooting to do. Let's get started. I'm going to try to run through these things and just shoot most of the rounds without a whole lot of talk in between, and then we'll assess what happens after I'm done shooting and look at all of our marks. So here we go. I got my 9mm. This is my full metal jacket, round tip, round nosed round. I need air protection. That's better. All right, 2 rounds on target. Here we go. I don't see any over penetration. That is my my first round. That's my second round. Okay, that was my full metal jacket. Now, we're gonna do our hollow point now. We're good to go. Let me put those just to the right. And one more. All right, we're good. Let's take a real quick look at those. This was interesting. These are my 2 full metal jackets. And these 2 guys down here, That's my hollow point. So full metal jacket up here and hollow point. Now, wait till you see what's back here. Guys, they all over penetrated. The two full metal jackets here and the two hollow points. I don't see any rounds out here. I do see 2 rounds over here in my second wall. Let's take a look at those. All right, I can't be sure what these are. I don't know if you can see this one down below. There's one down here that actually went into it, and there's one that keyholed right here. Interesting. The one that keyholed, I actually found. Let me show you something. Right there. It fits wonderfully in its place. The hollow point did not expand in any kind of way, being shot from 10, 12 feet away, and it came through again and whacked our wall 12 feet away after going through that board and did not even open up. While this round may not kill somebody, it'll whack them in the head pretty good. Your kid will wake up with that on his head. Now, I'm going to dig. I don't see, oh, this one went through. Yeah, this one went through. Let's look behind here. Wow, went all the way through. Went all the way through. The other 2 rounds, maybe because they were a little bit higher trajectory, the full metal jackets, quite possibly they went into the ground. I will look and see if I can't seem to find it in the ground, but I thought this was really interesting. The hollow point, very interesting. All right, guys, now I have my 45. Again, full metal jacket is first, and followed up with 2 ballistic tip critical defense rounds by Hornady. So here we go. I'm going to try to get low again, but not quite so low, because I do feel like a couple of my rounds might have made it into the ground before they hit the other wall. So here we go. All right, here we go with my critical defense. Ah, crap. Might have hit it almost in the same hole. I hope I didn't. These are my 2 full metal jacket rounds, and these are my 2 critical defense rounds. Let's take a look at the backside. Right, as you can see, everything came through. My last 2 critical defense shots, looks like they shared a hole. It's my fault. Trying to keep my groups kind of tight, and over tightened them. Look over here. 4 rounds at 45 that went all the way through. Every one of these rounds came through. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think both of them over here. All right, guys, now I've got my pistol caliber carbine. I'm going to stick with the 9mm, get these smaller bullets that are going to make smaller holes out of the way before I shoot my shotgun, since I know that's going to be a little bit more messy and hard to track those rounds. So let me get these, we'll do the 9mm, then the 5.56 next. All right, let me pick a side here. Not gonna get in my other sheetrock. Let me go right in between them. All right, obviously you expect them to go through. All of them went through. Let's see, you get this right. These are my 2 full metal jacket rounds here, and these are my 2 ballistic tip rounds over here, lead tip rounds, I should say. We blasted a hole, pretty good sized hole, through our second row of sheetrock. This is our full metal jacket round, and again, 5.56. Here we go, guys. Okay, that's my two full metal jacket rounds. And that's my 2 soft tip lead rounds. I see a lot of sheetrock dust flying around. All right, obviously you expect them to go through. All of them went through. Let's see, you get this right. These are my 2 full metal jacket rounds here, and these are my 2 ballistic tip rounds over here, lead tip rounds, I should say. Okay, not only did we go through, we blasted a hole, pretty good sized hole, through our second row of sheetrock. Pretty good one. Let's see what we got over here. All right, as we expected, our 5.56 rounds went through all of the first 2 sheets of sheetrock. They all went through this one too. I got a keyhole right here that went all the way through, and 1, 2, 3. 3 rounds that also went through. Looking at our 5.56 rounds, a big hole. Wow, that's my keyhole hole. And then 1, 2, I would have to guess that all 3 came through, but all 4 came through, but I do see 3 holes. That's our keyhole hole, big one. All right guys, shotgun time. I've got double-aught buckshot, 2 rounds, then I have 2 slugs, then I have 2 rounds of birdshot. So I'm gonna fire 6 rounds in succession here. Mosquitoes, it's Louisiana. Okay, let's see guys. Yep, that's my double-aught buckshot. This is gonna be messy. Okay, almost the same hole. Let me try to spread this around. Birdshot. Wow. The birdshot more than anything. Look at this. Holy cow. Double-aught buckshot, as noted by the double-aught buckshot. Slugs. The wad seems to pack a pretty powerful punch there. These are rifled slugs. Look at the birdshot. I want you to see the rest of this. Look at this mess. Buckshot, decent hole. Slugs, the holes get bigger. Birdshot. Holy crap. Who knew? As you can see, my buckshot is all over the place. Buckshot, buckshot. And my 2 buckshot rounds were almost in the same hole, so they spread pretty darn good. You've got about a 1.5 foot spread, about an 18-inch spread. My 2 slugs, well, it sure looks like 3 slugs, doesn't it? No way that's a wad. I don't understand how that could be possible. But for sure, those are the 2 rifled slugs right there. I don't know if you can tell with the camera angle, but I've got sheetrock dust blasted over onto this side. It looks like my shots were a little bit right. So I would have had more birdshot on this whole target, but it looks like one of the blasts hit right here and the other one might have been completely off. But there's birdshot peppered all around here. This whole area has birdshot in it. Let's see what happened on the other side. Buckshot made it through. It doesn't look like all of it did, so I'm guessing when I move this board, there will be some rounds down here. Most of the buckshot came through all the sheetrock. Both slugs, obviously, they're gone. No telling where those guys are. I don't see that any birdshot made it through the the 3rd sheet of sheetrock, or of course the 4th sheet. What can I say? This was fun. It was interesting. It was enlightening. You guys know me well enough, those of you that watch my videos. I don't claim to know it all. I try to speak on things that I know something about, and if I feel like I've done a little bit of research, I'll use that as my basis for saying whatever I say. I gotta tell you that I thought that I would get more penetration from a 5.56 round than a 9mm. For that matter, honestly guys, I just took the 45 ACP out here just for blanks and giggles, because I thought that big, slow, fat piece of lead would never make it through at least 2 sheets of this sheetrock. But this whole thing was enlightening to me. You notice I had one of those rounds that keyholed. That's probably a lightly loaded round. You know what I mean? I mean, that's got to be what it is, because all the other 9mm rounds, what round was that? That was, I'll have to look at it again, but yeah, that was the only one that didn't go all the way through. That was a hollow point. I almost brought my chronograph out here to chrono the feet per second of these, but I thought, no, the proof would be in the pudding with the drywall. But my guess is that feet per second would have been slower on that one, because no reason why it keyholed and the other ones went straight through. The 5.56 rounds, they did go all the way through. I will tell you that people have said that the drywall would slow them down. And I'm not trying to say that I'm right. I'm saying that I'm wrong about some of the other rounds. But the 5.56 round, nothing stopped it either. In fact, if you would note, the entry holes are pretty small with a 5.56, obviously. But boy, when it comes out the other side, it comes out a lot bigger. So the 5.56 round, people have said that the 5.56 was actually going to penetrate less than a 9mm. I don't see that. I still don't believe that. That I can't prove because everything went through. So I had nothing to stop it. I do believe that what I'm going to do is take some more sheetrock out here, build a third full wall, and put it back over here and see what I get. I mean, which of these rounds are going to go through, 3 walls? We know most of these are going through 2. I'm shocked at that. That means that if I'm shooting in my living room, there's a chance it can go through my kitchen and into my son's bedroom still on the other side of the house. Yeah, but the shotgun, wow. Got what I expected on the buckshot. That's what I totally expected. That's what I've seen before. I did expect the penetration. It does, I tell you what, it over penetrates more than what I thought it would. I did not expect as many of those pieces of buckshot to make it through that 4th sheet of sheetrock. That was a little bit of a surprise to me, but I expected to see buckshot back there. The slugs, who doubted that? Everybody knew the slugs were going to go through all 4 of those. I could probably put 5 walls up and the slugs would go through. But the birdshot, I did not expect the birdshot to make this big of a blast on the front side. It makes a huge hole going into the front piece of sheetrock, a bigger hole coming out of that, and then it just peppers the 3rd sheet of sheetrock. And nothing on the last sheet of drywall because nothing went through. A lot of these pieces of birdshot, you can see them stuck in that 3rd piece of drywall. And of course, a lot of them just bounce right off. It almost makes me wonder, guys, if you're looking at penetration and over penetration, is 7.5 birdshot, is that the best home defense round? I mean, seriously, think about it. It's going to penetrate through 2 walls. But looking at what it did by bouncing off of that 3rd sheet, that tells me that something on the other side of a room, once that has gone through the initial wall, that something on the other side of the room is probably just going to be mad, not necessarily hurt. So out of every round that I put out here today, it appears to me the safest round for home defense is 7.5 birdshot.